Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV. Wow, another beautiful sunny day up here, but it's cool and chilly as the season's upon us, and the gobble gobble is right around the corner. Ah, get in the barn. Don't start going that way. And there's the dogs all riled up. Hey, stop it! Come on, get in there. Just all riled up this morning, Friday. So ever get more excited on Friday? Yeah, you get excited because you get a paycheck and go buy things or sell something. Yeah, usually having a lot of success selling things on Craigslist, like on the weekend. Why is that, right? Yeah, why is that? It's because people usually get paychecks on Fridays. Come on, pups. Let's go. Come on. Get in the barn. Yeah, so what are we talking about today in the adventures of the Ice Age TV? Come on. Nope. Get over here. Come on in here. I'm sure some people will just be like, you're kidding me. The Broncos outside. The Chargers outside. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What do I do? Yeah. Challenge. Always been a challenge for me my whole life is living here is where I can park cars and be nice and covered. So look here. I put the bed rug in here last night. Actually, it's not officially done yet on the truck, but look at that here. I'm debating that. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but see, here's the bed rug. So last night, I laid this whole bed rug out. You have to zip it all together before you put it together. I had the turbo heater over here running a lot last night, and come on, pups. We'll get you guys in because what's going to happen is they're going to hear something, they're going to be gone. Then I'm going to be chasing that problem for the next freaking 5 minutes. So yeah, so it's cold up here, and you try to work with this, stuff. It just kind of is challenging. So I got creative, and so it's all good to go. I just had to put all the sticky tape down and everything else, and then flag. I don't know. That's debatable. It's so white right now because that's just the back part of it to keep it, be laminated, so it can be sticky to peel it off. But debatable. But anyway, so I was thinking to myself this morning, sales. What's the conversation? What about sales? And something that really got me probably the most experience in my career of sales was a dry washing guard. This is a product that came out in the early 90s, like 91. And it's a product that's, a liquid product, but you shake it all up. It has like a bunch of nice, they used to have like 47 ingredients. I used to be able to tell you all the stuff that was in it when I used to sell it. And you would pour this into a little bottle, a pump bottle that you would pressurize to spray it out and disperse the product in very minimal amounts so you could like wash and wax your whole car. So yeah, this product right here, this was one of the first waterless car wash products that was kind of got a lot of attention per se in the car market. This is back in 1992 when I decided to become a distributor of this product and start selling it. And very, very challenging because people were like, no way can you spray a liquid over my dirty surface of my car and not scratch it. But it's like, yeah, but it's a liquid. But that was huge challenge. But I was my own salesman and distributor, and there's a lot to that story right there of me leaving my oil job, where I eventually rose to be an oil salesman after driving fuel trucks and managing fuel company and everything else, and into the office, get out of the cold. Let's see if the dogs are waiting. So that I was a salesperson in the oil industry, and come on, pups, get up here. Come on. Let's go. Get up here for the morning routine. Get the heater on so that I can get warmed up. Turn the button on. Too bad I didn't have a timer. But as you can see, we can put a timer on that. Yeah, I don't know if I feel confident with that, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So, all right, dogs are. I went to change of pace. Yesterday, the big dog took the little dog's spot. I was thinking to myself this morning, sales. And, sales is kind of interesting how sales, such a broad, word, because it just has so many aspects of so many things in our world. And I just kind of thought to myself yesterday that I think that would be a great conversation today is about sales. And I was just explaining to you that dry wash and guard, I left, it was a friend of mine. I had a great friend of mine in the oil industry. We were lifting buddies, and he's a little older than me. And so in the oil industry, started having changes. So for me, I went in the oil industry just as a truck driver, maintenance guy. I evolved to management, then I evolved to sales, and evolved to commercial sales. And then I, kind of really my career really took off after working for the company, close to 8 years. And, I really started to make good income. And then the industry kind of started to change. The EPA guidelines, the governing bodies were shutting down. You could just have a fuel tank anywhere. I mean, back in the good old days, the dirty days, you had fuel tanks that weren't, would be just out next to the plumber's garage. If a plumbing contractor wanted 1,000-gallon, I'm going to sneeze here. Hold on. Well, I didn't sneeze, but back in the early days, up until the 90s, the fuel industry got away with a lot of contamination because people had fuel tanks just anywhere and everywhere, and they had underground fuel tanks. So many stories of underground fuel tanks at gas stations, at businesses that were leaking underground. So the Environmental Protection Agency really started to hammer down that they're going to have to start updating fuel tanks, and you can't allow fuel tanks just to be anywhere. So there's a lot of things start playing out. And as an independent jobber, we were independent jobber selling fuel, we started to see our customer base kind of dwindle. So for some salesmen, they were totally freaking out because they were losing lucrative accounts that bought fuel, on a regular basis, that were having to remove their fuel systems from their properties and have to go to the gas station. So it was a huge switch over, much challenging. So some of the big sales guys started seeing their incomes die. Well, my good friend, he was making big money, and he convinced me to get into this Envirotech International Dry Wash and Guard network marketing company, which was founded by Rod Yank, the former right-hand man to Slick 50, the Slick 50 product, if you know what that is. I've talked about it the other day. And ironically enough, another guy that came on board to be like the vice president of the company was Jonathan Goldsmith, who is that character on the Dos Equis commercial that's an old man that's the most interesting man in the world. So I used to hang out with him because he was my sponsor as a distributor, believe it or not. That's how early I kind of got into that business when they came out with that product. And I was resistant to do it, but it came more to a thing with the owner of the company versus me trying to tell me what I could do and couldn't do after hours on my time. And it just came, to shake the hands, which it was a great thing because I truly, as a salesperson, wow, beyond believable of what I went through and the hardships I went through. And I just really opened my eyes up, and I just even made me grow up more, mature more, because if I was a totally independent individual now, running around trying to sell a bottle of car wash to anybody. I mean, I'm talking that I would approach you. If I pulled up at 7-Eleven store and you're walking out and I saw you get in your car, I'd walk over to you, hey, let me show you a wireless car wash. You want to see how to clean your car, wash and wax it? It's got 37 ingredients, blah, 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 blah. Won't scratch your paint. Just as little as 3 ounces or 2 ounces will clean the whole car. You can buy the big bottle for $36.95 or buy the small bottle for $9.95. I did this stuff. I had no choice. I turned into where I had to be just a walking salesman 7 days a week because I left an income, a very nice income, that I had a lifestyle to have to pay for that. Yeah, my first wife was just beyond believable. She was just my first wife. There was many other things that eventually came from that end of that relationship. That wasn't just it, but she was just heartbroken that I left my lucrative, it wasn't lucrative, but a very good paying income that I worked so hard to create. So for me, what I'm trying to explain to you is I've been a salesperson for many, many years, but I didn't really start as a salesperson. I came out of high school. So I think that I came out of high school just in the automotive industry, parts industry, and then evolved to driving the truck, and then eventually evolved into the people skills of sales. And that's why I look at sales. Sales is such a unique thing. I mean, if you look if you look at like The Office, remember The Office, the series, and so how are the salespeople portrayed? You know, and that's in the movies, The Cadillac Man with Robin Williams. I mean, you can go through the list of movies and comedy, and because they always make fun of the salesman. The salesmen just have that. They have that. They just kind of have the name of being a salesman. I sure don't have to get great depth. And some people just despise salesmen. I mean, some people just can't even stand the thought to go to a car dealership and have a salesperson stand there in front of them. Yeah, I mean, that's how radical it is. But at the same time, it's all about sales. I mean, it's all about sales. Everything. You know, you are sold on something. And so that's what kind of spurred this thought was, so many people are like, sell your Bronco. You could flip it and make 20 grand maybe. You know, sell your, back in the day, sell your Mach-E GTs. So you can make 10, 20 grand for those. Sell your Ford F-150 Lightning, which I did do that. I did sell another Bronco, make some money off it. Sell your Hellcat. Sell your Heritage. So it's always about sales. Always about selling. So I just thought to myself, it's just kind of thinking to myself, what's a conversation for the Ice Age TV content? And I thought sales. And I thought, boy, that's such a broad spectrum of just talking about sales. Because everything is sales related. Yes, politicians sell you on what you think you're going to be happy about for contributing your tax dollars to get something out of it. I mean, your every aspect of life, even your relationship, you probably sold yourself, you know, to your wife, or she sold herself to you. Who knows? Vice versa. And so it's always about the value. So sales, as we know, you know, it's always about the value. And that's where the challenge comes in. That even for me, like I'll try to sell something, and the challenge is, just like anybody else, I think it has a value to it. The other person doesn't think the value is as great as I think. So how do you overcome that? The objections. How do you overcome the objections? That's the key thing as a really good salesperson, is how do you overcome the objections? So looking in more than ever, all we hear right now is like the negative sales. Yes, it just isn't ever ending right now. You already hear about the sales numbers on homes. They've gone down. The sales numbers on used car market, it's gone down. The sales on new cars, that's been going down because of supply chain issues. I mean, so, and then you're now hearing about the major layoffs of Amazon. So Amazon, obviously, their sales have gone down. A while back, FedEx Freight laid off a ton of people because their sales went down. And then you can go to Metaverse. I guess I don't know if you want to call it sales, but they're selling something for you to join up and do. They're wanting you to participate, so they're having to sell you on you have a value and they have a value for you. I mean, so for right now, more than ever in our country, it seems like the hidden message is the declining sales. Yeah, you know, so I was saying yesterday, it's so confusing to read the news and understand what the real message is, because on one hand, you're hearing that the sales and retail is down. But then on the other hand, you're hearing that actually the sales are better than they anticipated to be. So the sales are down, but they're not what they used to be. And I talk about this a lot to people I know. It's like, you know what? It's beyond believable that we're continuing to live this fake economy thought process. There's so many businesses that reaped huge rewards from the pandemic. Huge. Beyond believable. And there's a ton of people that went broke beyond broke. But the sales, all I hear is, I mean, I'll tell you straight up, one of my best salesmen, his numbers like doubled during the pandemic consistently. So now you hear, you know, you kind of feel the atmosphere a little bit that the sales aren't as good. But I even asked him, it's like, but are you kind of like back to where it was pre-pandemic? And he's like, yeah, right. Yeah, hello. So it's like the misinformation being that a person will portray, oh man, I was making so much money and I was doing so great. Now I'm not doing so great. But it's like, okay, but before the pandemic came in, is this kind of like where you used to be? Well, yeah. So, I mean, it's all the fake economy that drove unrealistic numbers not to sustain itself. But yet everybody's surprised now. I just don't, are you serious? This is no lie. I'm a boat guy. Marine Max down there in St. Petersburg, Florida, or wherever it is, close to that area, Clearwater Marine Max in Florida, West Coast. I bought a boat, then we thought about selling the boat, getting a different boat, blah, blah, blah. Well, I can tell you just here a year and a half ago, those places were so overwhelmed. The salespeople's challenge wasn't selling boats. It was trying to get a boat to sell a person a boat because people were lined up to buy boats. Right. And that was during the pandemic. You can hear the same story over and over and over again of, the RV dealers, the car industry. But now yet, I would imagine people are pulling back. I haven't really gone and really looked into that lately. But it'd only be common sense that people that manage their money are probably now pulling back on buying a boat. Whole point is, pre-pandemic, it wasn't when you went to a boat dealership and you were told that there was a list of people waiting to buy a boat because of supply chain issues, and everybody others was wanting a boat. Pre-pandemic, it was more like, oh yeah, we don't, we have a boat. The people weren't just, it wasn't just like a crazy mad rush. What created that? Think this through. What created? But I do know, we've talked about it numerous times, that people having more time and having remote working. Yeah, look at that. Look at the sales force that people are sitting at home. And here's the thing. People right now are getting very irritated because the sales pitch in so many words is, all right, you can stay home. You can do your job. Well, just look at Twitter. All of a sudden, the sales pitch isn't the same to seem that the value of what they're doing is worth it. Because Elon Musk, it's just Elon Musk every day, right? That's what Elon Musk wants us to do, is talk about him every day, I guess. He's in the news every day, all day, because he's the Twitter fiasco, which is turning into a fiasco. People are apparently leaving by the droves now. So first he laid off half the people, but now probably another half of the people are raising their hand. They want to leave. They don't want to work for this guy. They look at him as being a jerk because now Elon Musk is putting the hammer down, saying, oh, by the way, I just laid off half the workforce, and guess what? And this is how people look at this, okay? And guess what? I need you to work twice as hard. Has anybody been through this in their life, in a job? So let me see, let's see if I get this right. So you just laid off half the workforce, but now you want me to work double as hard because you just lost half the people, but I'm not going to really make any more money, but you just saved all this money because you got, right? So the sales pitch isn't working very well. For Elon Musk, the average individual has a brain. It's like a no-brainer. Yeah, get rid of half the workforce, but now I want you to work double as hard, right? So that sales pitch isn't working too great. You got to wonder with Elon Musk. The guy can burn cash. The guy's got billions, billions. So there's no doubt in my mind, this guy is so borderline arrogant because he has money like you can't, ever never seen for the average individual in this, the world ever living. Yeah, no lie. Jeff Bezos, a few other people have big money, but this guy's got big money, so he can just burn money and just piss people off. He doesn't care. He's going to get what he wants to get done accomplished. So he's going to see if his plan works. It's a no-brainer. Here's the first thing you do is you get radical and see if the radical works. If everybody plays the game. They don't, well, then you have to kind of lower down your expectations. And, I guess he has to hire more people back again to realize he can't get the unique individuals to ramp it up to get what he wants to be accomplished. So that's a whole sales pitch. And once again, you as an individual, it isn't like you're buying something from Elon Musk, but at the same time, you're being presented something that has value to you. And the list goes on and on and on, but here's the biggest thing. What's the sales pitch for the green agenda? Yeah, the green agenda for us, the sales pitch is a better world, better environment, but you're going to pay a lot more money for it. And here's and this is what's the irony to that. Most people are very, very tight on their money and manage their money, and they don't like the idea of having to pay more for things to get something done. They don't like that. I just talked about Elon Musk. He doesn't want to pay more to people to get things done. He wants to pay less. So for the green agenda, that's a whole other thing that it's kind of being told, but I don't think the average person really digs that deep and thinks it through. But how expensive the green agenda is. What I mean by that is, we have people who are voting people into office that really do want the Green New Deal and the social justice and all that other stuff to go with it. And I talked about this the other day. Is anybody really surprised, for the most part, that things are getting more expensive? I mean, if you look at what's going on, and then the pandemic-related problems. But here's the thing: I wish somebody else would weigh in on this thought. I just like to hear somebody else here watch my channel say if they think I'm totally off base on this, or it's a change of times. And the younger generation is making great sums of money. And get this, I read this just the other night. So for IT people are getting laid off right now. So the IT sector is laying people off. Yeah, but there's such a green agenda IT sector that's looking for these type of people. They're just going to shift from one IT type of social platform or whatever they're doing to a green agenda platform IT. Yes, that's a fact. So for all these IT people laid off, most of them are just going to find a job with a different company that's probably now more the green agenda. So what the point is, I truly believe the 25-year-old to 35-year-old, person is making so much more money than when I was 25 to 35 years old. So I just think that this inflation, I don't think it's as radical as people want to portray it. It's only the people of my age group and the people that are in lower income areas that are getting hit harder, meaning that the younger generation, they're making substantial good money, so that it's not really that radical out of their pay to equal what they're having to pay for things. I mean, that's the only thing I can kind of figure out is when we just witnessed the midterm elections, where the message really is that people don't really, to me, the message that I've gotten from the midterm elections is people are pretty content. People don't think it's that radically bad in this country, which sadly, to a degree, yes, it's gotten radically bad. I mean, here now, Washington, D.C., the mayor is getting ready, Muriel, whatever her name is, she's getting ready to possibly go along with some new bills being revised about the laws of the city, of you carrying a gun, of you hijacking a car, of you stealing things, you doing harm to others, where they're going to lower the sentences and penalties to individuals, so now and the message is, it's just sending a message to the criminals of the city and the people who want to do bad, that they're getting more leniency to do whatever the hell they want to do. And now they're saying that 500, there was like 4,000, they call them the Metro police officers. There was like 4,000. Well, apparently like 500 have left between retirement, leaving. So it's the smallest police force now in Washington, D.C., and really in a long, long time, if not the first time. But yet D.C. to a degree is bigger and it has more people in D.C. I mean, it's because they've done so much development in D.C. of taking like lousy neighborhoods and making them more upscale, and just to push the riffraff, further up the road to somewhere else. But, so where's it? So there's the sales pitch. What the sales pitch is, which you think it through, is there's people in D.C. that are trying to pitch to the mayor that they feel the better environment would be not to be so harsh on the criminals. And this is rampant. This is going on everywhere. So to me, that's a sales pitch. That's, you give to get. You get to give. That's how sales is. And then you look at the illegal immigration. It's massive. And so what's the sales pitch to the individual that supports it versus the other individual doesn't? And the only thing I can really come to closure on that is, it's a person that truly believes that this is a humane crisis and that us as a sitting country should have to take care of these people. And versus, for me, my position is, you have governing bodies of other countries that aren't taking care of their people. that we should be sitting down and talking to and trying to help those governing bodies to try to make a better governing body for those countries. And we should have stricter immigration where people respect our country more and they go through the proper process of becoming a legal citizen by us hopefully revamping, the immigration process and everything else. For all the money we're spending, I mean, I know it's deep, so I'm not a fool to thinking that, like AOC thinks. I mean, AOC from New York, Alexandria Cortez, she thinks that by 2030, the whole frickin' United States of America can be net zero. I mean, how people, the sales pitch? I mean, sincerely, in 2019, if you were a congressman, senator, of any authority, and you had Alexandria Cortez come to you and present a bill that says that by 2030, the whole country be net zero, would you believe that sales pitch? I mean, sincerely, would you believe that and support that? You wouldn't buy that sales pitch. Terrible sales pitch. And that's what sales is. Sales is all about presenting something that makes sense to somebody, that has a value to it. And when the value doesn't seem to make sense, then the sales deal is over. And that's the challenge as a salesperson. And in overcoming the objections to hopefully get somebody to understand the value that they don't realize they have. And in politicians, that's what they do by talking out of the side of their mouth. They present things that seem to create what some may believe could be true, but for the average person knows it's not true. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. I mean, beyond unbelievable. But that's where we are today with our politicians more than ever in a social platform. The Twitter. Twitter is to me, Twitter's sad. And the reason I say it's sad is because it's totally just saying that they don't want to hear the differences of opinions. Twitter, I've never been on Twitter. Even though I've thought about joining up, I'm just kind of sitting back right now watching. But I'm just kind of seeing how this stuff all plays out. I mean, I'm entertained. For me, I'm getting entertainment on watching Elon Musk, whatever the hell he's gonna do. He's calling it the Twitter 2.0. I mean, the odds are Elon Musk will pull something off. I mean, I would not. The guy's got money to burn. So, I mean, and he's just playing Mr. Hardball to try to get ready to do the jumping jacks and push-ups, in front of you, like the drill sergeant, trying to get people, in line to see who his warriors are to proceed. He's just trying to cut through the weak ones. That's his own little, sales pitch to himself, if you know what I mean by that. So, for us, the challenge more than ever, though, is these social platforms like Facebook, like Twitter. They've influenced people on a sales position. They've influenced people to believe something that has a value to it, but in the end, it doesn't. Does anybody truly believe by the defund the police movement has made things better? Does anybody believe that? I mean, sincerely. I mean, for the first time for me, I've been in this area in business, for over 30 years. I've been around this area for over 40 years. And yesterday, I was in downtown Silver Spring, Maryland, and wow. I mean, just the demographics all changed. I borderline felt like I was in Northeast D.C., borderline Southeast D.C., which I used to go down there back in the 80s and deliver fuel. I used to go deliver fuel to warehouses down back alleys, and I have to get up early in the morning. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I have to be down at the terminal. I had to be loaded up on the road by 6 o'clock, heading downtown. Had to be places to meet guidelines for people that had. There were some occasions where a guy would stand out the back alley with me with a gun in his hand. That's how bad it was. I'd drive by and see a dead body in the alley. Okay, you think that was nerve-wracking when I was a young man driving around a fuel truck? Wonder if I was going to be shot and killed by somebody? Yeah, ridiculous. But for the first time ever, Silver Spring, Maryland, it's pretty much been a very dominant, wealthy area in the downtown area. Yesterday, I literally thought I was in Northeast D.C. in 1984, 85, 86, 87, 88, just bad. Why? And even the business owners that I deal with and talk to, they're like, yeah, the demographics have totally changed. It's really bad. and they have security cameras all over their businesses. I mean, everywhere, and they're very concerned for their well-being. Beyond believable. So what's beyond believable for me is a politician makes a presentation to sell you on something, and people have to come to closure on the presentation has a value of what they want to change. And so to defund the police, where's that conversation of all the people that supported defund the police? We're witnessing all-time high crimes beyond believable in cities that are all related to the police don't have the support they used to have, because the sales pitch is that they don't have a value. They actually devalue. That's what that message was. And where's BLM? Where's the BLM that had the pitch that Black Lives Matter, but yet we're witnessing in these inner cities, Washington, D.C., New York, L.A., San Francisco, Chicago, Philadelphia, the black people are killing themselves at the highest rate. Where's the Black Lives Matter that was trying to come in and have community police? Remember this conversation? Their sales pitch was, get rid of the pigs, defund the police, and we need to have community police that will come in and will handle these challenged people better. Do we get a refund? I mean, I even think about the student loan thing. It just is beyond believable that this student loan thing, it doesn't make any sense to me. A student was, and somebody's like, what do you mean it doesn't make any sense to you? Well, let me explain to you what that means. Is a student signed up to go to school. A student obviously didn't have the money financially to go to school, so he had to take a loan. That's a huge thing in the schooling systems. Universities are some of the most profitable businesses in the world. Yes, NCAA, it's the most profitable, lucrative sports organization in the world. Look it up. Okay, so now they're wanting the sitting president wants to pass a bill to help relieve some of the debt, not all, but some of the debt. I don't get this. The sales pitch to the student was, you are told if you borrow money, you get to go to school, and it's going to help you advance your career and your life to hopefully become self-sustainable one day. And from going to our school, we helped you accomplish that. What's the problem? Why are you upset? What's going on? I mean, come on, what's going on? All right, okay, so you're not really happy. Well, this conversation needs to be done with you and the school. You and the school need to go have a conversation about how you're not happy with your education and what you were presented wasn't actually the value you thought it was. And so go argue with the school for your refund and argue with the loan company that supported the school to loan you the money. That's how you handle that. Why do I, as a taxpayer and other taxpayers, have to be involved in your unhappiness of what you thought had a value, but now to you doesn't seem to have a great value? It's sales pitch. That's all it is. You were sold on something, but you're not happy. It goes on all the time. People go to businesses and they buy something and it isn't the value they thought it was, so they take it back. Look at me. Look at my car addictions. Borderline, there's a huge problem. I buy something, then at the end, is it really what I thought it was, or the value, or is it just I get bored of it, or I just, it's too much money, move on, get something else, shed the debt. That's the whole ballgame. What am I doing next year? Probably watching next year, oh, sold this, sold that, sold this, sold that. I mean, right now, who knows where this economy's going? That goes back to that conversation of maybe this economy's not in dire straits as everybody wants to say it is, because we have a younger generation of people who are making tons of money. Tons of money. I mean, who goes around this DC metro area? It just is. There's so many homeless people, and I know there's many homeless people with mental challenges, and I get all that. I've picked them up. You may think I'm lying. I have picked up homeless people, and I've taken with me to do some manual labor. It doesn't last very long. Yeah, it doesn't last very long. They've got mental challenges. I know this. You have no idea how many times I've done this stuff in my life, because I'm out in the streets and I see people. I have compassion for people. But when I see the lady standing there with a sign that says, I have 5 kids and I need help, wearing her nice shoes and nice jacket, nice hat, it's a scam. Beyond a scam. I can't get a job. It's baloney. It's like baloney. No, you're just playing the game at the intersection where, do these people make $200-$300 on a good day of cash? They do. In this DC metro area, I've met a guy. He told me he makes a good $200 a day in cash. Yes. He puts in his 4 to 6 hours, and then he's done for the day. The right intersection, the right environment, the right look. Yeah, it's a business. I said years ago, I'm going to start the network marketing panhandler business, where we get a group of us out there and we're all kind of doing our own thing, and you get a day off and you get to share the money, and then I do the day of doing all the work. Yeah, and then you get a day off, and we just rotate and share the monies, right? If we had like 20 of us out there, Jesus Christ, in one day we could maybe bring $4,000 or $5,000 in, right? I mean, come on, we'd all be out partying. Yeah, right. All right, that's it. I'm gonna shut up, right? Hey, I'll leave it at that. Just thought today would be conversations of sales. And yeah, the sales stories I have, I really should finish that up. So dry wash and guard, pretty cool product, really nice, and oh my gosh, what I went through where I traveled. So Jonathan Goldsmith, the Dos Equis man that has the beard, probably I'm starting to look like him. And he's been to my house. He's been to my house, and I've done the meetings. I've done the rah rah shish kumbah. Come to my meeting, and let me sign you up and show you how you become a millionaire by selling a bottle of liquid that costs the manufacturer, $1 that I just paid $10 for. Yeah, it's about the damn truth. And yeah, and then you just go find all your friends. Everybody knows the Avon, the Mary Kay, the Amway. There's so many network marketing companies out there. So I've done that stuff, and that was people skills. Helped me build people. Helped me do like public speaking, where I can get in front of an audience and talk to people. So I've done all that stuff. And with Jonathan Goldsmith, he was actually an actor. His story was in our meetings it was about trying to share with others your hardships, and your hardships, how do you turn them into opportunities? So Jonathan Goldsmith's The Planet of the Apes. If anybody knows the original movie Planet of the Apes, Jonathan Goldsmith went there to try to be recruited to be an actor, and he was turned away because he has blue eyes. Because monkeys don't have blue eyes, so he couldn't be in that movie. That was his story for him. So, and then Rod Yank was the president of the company out of Las Vegas, Nevada. It's kind of like, well, it's like they're based in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's like, yeah, how much of a scam is this damn operation? But I supported it for many years. I met a lot of great friends. I did a lot of great things. I busted my ass to make $30,000 a year, working 7 days a week, driving to truck stops, banging on truck stops guys' doors, and open up their truck, because we started to sell a metal polish to clean up metal on their aluminum. So everywhere I went, I was into so many businesses, car dealerships, automotive dealerships, even healthcare facilities. They were created a so-called antibacteria cleaning product and blah 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 blah. But the biggest one is I met the Ginsu knife guy out of Asbury Park, New Jersey. Yes, if you know the Ginsu knife from the 70s and 80s infomercials, I was at that guy's house. I thought I was going to die that day. So it's Asbury Park, New Jersey, which is mafia. That's the mafia elitist hometown in New Jersey. And so I met up with actually a stockbroker. He was one of my distributors that was recruited to me through Jonathan Goldsmith. So I had to drive up to Jersey, and this is back when I had my Chevy Dually. This is back when I left my nice job of selling oil and making good money, and now I'm driving a Chevy Dually 450 big block that gets no light, like 8 to 10 miles a gallon. So for me, and now I've burned all through my savings money. I'm just burning through money and running out of money, and I'm driving around with a cell phone, calling people all the time. Cell phones back then, I had a $750 cell phone bill from driving around and using my truck as my office to sell product to businesses and people and blah, blah, blah. And so now I'm driving to Jersey and back, and I'm burning through gas. It ain't good. So anyways, I get up there to Asbury Park, and I meet this stockbroker guy that sits in this office. And this guy is like, this is like the movies. I'm not embellishing. So first meet this guy like in a warehouse. And this guy, like, when you walk in his little office that's probably the size of my office here, and it's a dark office, and he's got a radio listening to the stock market. That's how he's playing the stock market. And he's like a broker. And so when he walks in the office, he looks around and he locks the door and closes the door. All right, whatever. So now we go to his house. We got to go to his house, because I'm actually delivering him a bunch of product that he wants for him to be able to sell as well. And so, and he was the in for me for the Ginsu knife guy. He had relations with other people to get us to go show this guy, because this guy wanted to be a distributor of it, which that's huge for me. If I could tap into the Ginsu knife guy and he could sell his product, that could have been my millions back in 1992, the fall of 92. So anyways, so now we go to his house, and it's like in a regular old residential neighborhood. And when every time he would go in and out of the house, he would look behind him and then he would lock the door. I'm like, wow. I mean, to me, I'm like, this guy's being tracked. Somebody wants this guy. I don't know. I don't want to be. I'm thinking I'm going to be in the middle of this crap. They're going to come show up to shoot and kill this guy, and I'll be tomorrow's news because I was there at the wrong time, or the right time for the other people. But anyways, so we go to the Ginsu knife guy's house out in beautiful country, horse country. It's, you know, it's the estate McMansion property. You drive down the long driveway with the beautiful fences and into the beautiful, you know, home and shop. So we get there, and I meet the guy, and I meet his bodyguards. He had bodyguards with him. Yeah, it's like, wow. I mean, I'm just like, holy crow. So he's had a black 911 turbo Porsche sitting in his garage. And so we go up into his office, and I share the product, and he's really intrigued, and he really thinks he wants it. But he wants me to demonstrate it on his 911 turbo Porsche black. It's got some, you know, it isn't real dirty. So we go back downstairs and shop, and I spray the product on, and as I'm starting to wipe it, he says to his bodyguards, he goes, I sure hope that guy didn't scratch that car. I'm thinking, I'm going to be dog meat. You know, I'm just thinking, oh my God. I mean, this is right. But at the same time, if he likes it, this could be the gold mine of my hit, right? So sure enough, it's beautiful. This guy's like, I want it. And how many cases and thousands of bottles can I have? And I'm going to sell it on my infomercial. And already that's like, oh, jeez. I already know that the odds are the guidelines of the network marketing protection policy to other network distributors is this guy probably won't be able to sell it on TV, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Why couldn't they? It would just promote the product that much more and help other distributors to buy it from them. So sure enough, he wanted to become a distributor. He wanted to infomercial stuff, and he would have been my distributor. He would have sold maybe thousands and thousands of bottles. So I could have made maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars or maybe millions of dollars off of this guy, because I would have wrote off his success already. But nope, the company wouldn't do it, man. They wouldn't do it. Beyond believable. Beyond believable that the company wouldn't let this guy start selling this stuff through the TV. Just sad, really. So yeah. So did I think I was going to die that day? Yeah. And then the guy that I sold, the broker, I sold the guy like $2,000 worth of the dry wash and guard product that I hauled up my dually with all the boxes and cases of product. I unloaded in his garage. And so when we're all done with that, we go back to his house, and he writes me a check, and I take the check, and I leave, and I go up to the bank because he didn't have any cash. But I'm like, I'm not leaving Jersey without getting my cash. There's no way. So I go to the bank, and the lady goes, I can't cash this check. And I'm like, why? She's like, because it's post-dated. I'm like, what? I'm like, post-dated? And I'm looking like, oh my God, you're right. And I said, should I be concerned? And this is no lie. It's like this lady knew this guy. She's like, I'd be very concerned. So now I'm driving back to his house to, like, you know, grab all my product. I mean, and I got back there just in time before he left. And then he's playing the game of, oh man, that's right. I didn't blah, 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 you know. Wow. Oh, the stories of my salesmanship. I'd bore you. I get so many more stories to tell you, but that's it. That's my story today. Appreciate everybody watching the channel. And I never have told the Volkswagen GTI story. If you want to hear that one day, just tell me you want to hear it, and I'll tell you. So everybody, stay tuned for what's the next adventure, right? Yeah, we shall see. So stay safe. God bless, and thanks for watching Ice Age